Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Hannah McCall rejoins me to discuss human rights, universal human rights, that is. Hannah, how's it going? How are you?
You know what? It's good. It's good. Don't look at the dumpster fire outside, but it's good.
We're going to jump into this human rights. I keep saying human rights, just cutting off the universal because that universal, I need to make sure I say universal because is that far reaching, right? This is a global phenomenon that has been addressed and dealt with in so many capacities for eons. So I was eager to kind of tackle this topic again, and having had previous conversations with you and a few others about just a couple of things about society in general and how we deal and how we dabble, the rights that we have, the lack thereof, etc. So I was eager to have this conversation with you to get your perspective. So having said that, Hannah, when you think of human rights and universal human rights in and of itself, like what comes to mind?
The reason why I pause is because I don't understand why this is confusing. I really don't. And
Hello.
I joke that my neurospicy is that when you know better, you don't do better. Like I don't understand like why that translation doesn't happen because that's really all that I think our need to have a human rights discussion is it's this. I've learned human rights are important to me. I'm refusing to just let that replicate in every other human.
Mhm.
Because did you choose any of your human rights?
Right.
Like did you do anything to get them, to earn them? Like it doesn't make sense to me that we have to even say human rights. Like I
And,
it,
Hannah, ditto, ditto, ditto. First of all,
I'm
because
confused.
and that was my thing with what you in particular. And I think I'm gonna have this discussion with one other person who I've known for a while, with diverse, unique perspectives as yourself. But what you said initially, it's like almost like what we're having this conversation. Why? Like universal human rights should be, and we know, especially once we leave. Well, we know now after being educated about certain world events in
Mhm,
certain
mhm.
continents, countries, whatever. We know that human rights aren't as universally accepted as
No.
some as they are in certain regions of the country or the world for that matter.
There's a
So I
gatekeeping.
get that part. Say again, Hannah.
There's a gatekeeping of human rights.
Ah, that whew, there's a gatekeeping of human rights, and you're right. The way you said, like again, like we're having this conversation about the rights of people. How did they amass them? What does that look like? Well, what they should look like, they should look like the same for every other person, but they don't. What has been the central issue why this is still such a talking point?
I mean, I think there's two ways to look at that. There's the historical obvious answer, colonization, and then there's the deeper, I guess, psychological issue of colonizers don't exactly have a strong grip on the core of who they are. They don't have an identity because when you're constantly acquiring and absorbing others, it's
Mm-hmm.
very natural that we all know this. If you've moved from certain places, you lose your identity a little bit when you absorb others. And if you don't have a strong sense of identity, you can't know yourself, you can't love yourself, you can't accept yourself. You can't give those things to yourself, then you also can't give that to others. So if the people gatekeeping the human rights are the colonizers, and the colonizers are having a hard time knowing and accepting themselves, they're going to spew, whatever they're feeling on other people. I think
Absolutely.
the easiest way to do that is food access.
Mm.
If you control food, You control the wellness of the globe.
Yes, I see where you're coming from with that, and which lends me this. Um, as you were unpacking that, I'm looking at you. I know Hannah, and
Mhm.
now I'm curious about Hannah's potential experience. Have you ever been in that situation? Anything that you care to share? I'm just curious.
I'm an American Black woman with a white mother. The rights afforded to me, I will say, they're about they're quite elusive. We'll just say that they're now that's a moving goalpost as I'm learning at 41 years. That's a moving goalpost. My rights actually have been changing every day, which is a
Yeah.
wild thing to experience. And it's even a wilder thing to have conversations with my elders and have them be able to very directly comfort me because they know what it's like to not have the rights that I had gotten, I guess we'll say, comfortable with. Um, so it's been interesting to be in a human rights slash public health human services field for as long as I have, and to now be kind of linking arms with each other in a little bit different way. If I'm
Hmm.
being honest, we're all a little bit more equal than we were before.
Yeah, yes, yes, we are. Some respect and a lot of respects. We have a long way to go still. That
Mm-hmm.
still sounds so just strange and awkward for me to even say that. Um,
It can, but I can also say in my lifetime at least, this the reason why I say I'm not having a bad time, even things, are the way they are and my rights are being taken away, is because I feel like for the first time we're having real conversations
yeah,
about what our lives are like. Like we're understanding there's individuality and then there really is a whole to this. Like
that's correct. That's
with
correct.
human rights, period. Yes, your rights are yours. And I think it's hard to like break up that self-autonomy versus best for everyone. But I mean, that's how the world works.
Yeah, whew.
The world being
Having,
the planet, by the way.
yes,
Like
correct, correct. That's correct. That's how the world works. Um, I too I can think of several instances where, my rights were seemingly
hmm
threatened, if you will.
hmm
Um, yeah, I'm from Georgia, and I am from rural Georgia, not Atlanta, not one of the other.
not Atlanta,
Yeah,
period.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying. I am from rural Georgia, and yeah, I can think of several instances where things. It's again, it seems as if my rights were infringed upon or what have you. But to your point, um, I can at the same time I can personally attest or confirm in this case that things have gotten significantly better overarchingly, right? Most of us
Really?
can, well, yeah, well, I can say that. Um, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Mhm.
Where are you going with that? Um, in most instances, yes, they have. However, it's kind of like the saying that trope, no one is free until everyone
Yeah,
is free
yeah.
kind of thing.
Even simpler than that. I I think in the DMV alone, the difference in food access, literally. So like the human right to vegetables and fruits.
Right.
That's drastically different. Like where I live in Montgomery County versus if I go to certain parts, a little southern, a little other side of, the DC boundary, drastically different. Or if I go up to Baltimore and drive through certain neighborhoods, how many corner stores do I see? A lot.
Yes.
How many
Yes.
places? When I was up there for like 2 weeks, I was shocked how far I had to drive from where I was staying to get to a grocery store. And I was like, I'm not far from home. Like,
Correct. You're
for
right.
me, I can walk to 2 bodegas and 2 grocery stores all within a mile radius of me.
Wow. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. You're spot on with that one. There are food deserts all over, it's especially Baltimore. And
And
and kind of, to your point as well. I mean, you know this. Unfortunately, that type of phenomenon exists throughout so many regions of this country, and in places kind of like you alluded to too, in places that you would never think or imagine, that type
Mhm.
of situation, if you will, would actually exist, especially in almost 2026, right?
Because they're also it's happening in neighborhoods where, two income households are buying nice houses and looks like we have progressed, but you still have to drive 20 minutes to get to a grocery store and you don't trust the produce. Have we progressed? Do
Ooh,
you have all the human rights you think that you do?
ooh,
Because that feels like a lot of barriers and obstacles. And
yeah.
once we have those, human rights is off the table.
And Hannah, as you expanded on that, now you have me thinking about the other human rights issue, who a lot of people consider a human rights issue, and is the access to care, health care,
Mhm.
right? Or the lack thereof, however you want to put it. But yes, it's akin to what you're mentioning about the food scarcity, the scarcity of food, and so forth. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Trees, human right. The placement of trees in a city, the temperature the city can get to. Like, all of these things are very intentional. They were intentionally removed, which again, that disrupts a balance. The earth knows how to take care of her kin,
correct. No,
if you will.
exactly, exactly.
And we altered it. And it is healthcare is a big one. And the overarching my confusion of human rights is everyone wants to be well. As a baseline, I think we can all say that, right? Even the richest of the richest, the gatekeepers of the human rights, right?
Mhm,
Even they want to be well.
mhm.
The burden of the like health diseases and everything else we see, I think it's like 80% of those happen and are also preventable by very basic things like what we're talking about: food access and healthcare. That's it. 80% globally. We
Right.
could just remove that burden of disease. And you know what that would, billionaires could maybe find a new number to be, going for. I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm just saying, like, you hurt yourself when you hurt us. And that's why human rights having to be a heated debate as if we're different on the issue is always going to be confusing to me. Because like
Correct.
whatever you want,
Correct.
it's attached to what we all have. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, I totally with you on that. And yeah, thanks again for just expanding on that. And because as you're sharing, you literally have me thinking and picturing some other, kind of things out there that go on that you don't really internalize like that, but
Yeah.
it is a part of it. So
Hmm.
along those lines too, kind of the flip side of it, Hannah, what organizations come to mind that help to kind of, I don't know, a lack of a better word, kind of help foster that rights are upheld.
Honestly, mutual aid organizations, it's usually what I always say to go for. I can't, being being in the position that I'm in right now with so many organizations doing such crucial, critical work right now, I would
Mhm.
be remiss to name any one or two. But I will say DC and Baltimore specifically have some fantastic mutual aid organizations that generally would just prefer you look at what they're doing and see how you can support what they're doing, because if we do want to help, we can't pretend like we know what we're doing if we're just coming in the room for the first time. So helping in the way that people ask you to help and letting that be okay is kind of a good idea.
And I've seen some great organizations, and the numbers in terms of, I mean, the percentage of people that they help.
Small ones too have big impact.
Say again.
I said small organizations have really big impact. I'm not sure we really realize that.
That's true. That's true. So now I want to flip the script again, Hannah. I have two sentences that I would like you to finish. So the first one, if let's say if you could wave a magic wand, or your magic wand, to address this topic, I would first.
Am I going back in time, or am I waving the wand right now?
You know what?
If I'm waving the wand right now, obviously I am just, roadblocking the infrastructure for food access to everybody.
Yep.
If I'm like, let me go back and fix some stuff, I am giving all of the land that encompasses Turtle Island back to its rightful caretakers. So I think that would eradicate a lot of these human rights issues right then and there.
I concur. Yes, it would. Yeah, no, thanks for that. Okay, another one, right? And this is just a very generalized statement. True universal human rights would
it would probably solve 98% of our problems. And I could actually argue that.
And right, it's kind of trivial in a way, right? But you're right. It would eradicate so many of things that we deem problematic or what have you.
Yes. If we didn't have to talk about what you deserve versus what I deserve and act like you can't what I have and blah blah blah, then what would we even do?
Wow. No. I had to let that simmer just a little bit. But I for the record again, I totally agree.
I mean, this is made up. This is all made up, and then we have to make lies to enforce the OG lie that human rights are even a thing. We're just human. Yeah.
But the statement of live and let live. I'm serious. I was literally a little boy. Those words used to always ring and resound through my head. I'm like, what? So when I got old enough to kind of again internalize and kind of know what those words meant, I'm like, oh, so duh, of course, live and let live. If you're not doing anything that has been deemed illegal, right? Because I used to say moral or what? Well,
that's a moving stick.
What's that?
I said that's a moving stick.
I'm like, people's more. That's different. Like from whose vantage point, based on what?
So because you're right. What? No one is actually ever going to know what my experience in life is. No one is going to know what your experience in life is. Because of that fact, we have absolutely no ability to say what another person's life is. Therefore, we can't say what's right for it. It's not up to us.
Check, bingo, all of that. Yeah, I was just eager to see, what your responses and feedback were going to be around this. So with that, as always, I appreciate you joining me with this human rights discussion.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for joining me again, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Me too.
To the audience, thank you for your continued support. Like this video and any other video that resonates with you. Leave a comment and share. And as I always say, don't forget to subscribe And I also like to say, make sure you hit that notification button so you won't miss my latest recordings. Life Writing Podcast is another way we creatively inform and inspire, helping people write the lives they desire. Take care.